Let's get it. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary week. We got my boy Jason here today.
What
We're gonna
up?
go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get into a little bit of QB talk. We're gonna go ahead and get into some Alex Smith, some Jordan Reed, and go ahead and we got a couple special announcements to make as far as the draft. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Jason and I we're just discussing, and as anybody who follows Niner Faithful, oh, by the way, follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio and at Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Jason does a great job. We've got mock drafts coming up all the time. We've got memes.
Good morning.
We've got cracking shit going on here on Niner Faithful Radio Facebook. Jason's been doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
So I want to start out the show. As we all know, Alex Smith has retired. And I thought we would take a couple moments to express our thoughts of Alex Smith. And look, I think that Alex was taken number one overall. Should he have been taken number one overall? No, I think it's pretty obvious. Aaron Rodgers was the one that should have been taken first overall. But, Alex didn't have a bad career. And I think that when I close my eyes, or my kid, if I fully support Jason's idea of naming it the NFL Comeback Player of the Year award, the Alex Smith Award. I fully support that. I do think the NFL should do that because what Alex Smith came back from was crazy. I mean,
Never
anybody
be
who
done
knows, yeah, never be done again. People know how I'm all about sacrificing for football. I mean, how many times have I told the story of Ronnie Lott chopping off his pinky? I remember them saying, reading articles from back in the day saying they didn't even think Joe would ever walk again, let alone play football. And so I'm all about sacrificing. But when something risks your life and you still come back from it and play, and not only play, but play pretty damn well, considering.
Pretty good.
Yeah, considering, I think that we say, well done, Alex. And I think that when my grandkids ask me, hey, Grandpa, tell us about Alex Smith, I'll tell them about the Saints game. And the Aints game, to me, that sums up Alex Smith. That was his refusal to lose. And Alex Smith took plenty of shit from the faithful. And I love what you said yesterday in the nitty gritty Niners chat. By the way, go check them out. They're doing amazing work. Wayne, Donnie, and Miss Peaches does amazing work for Nitty Gritty Niners. We're going to go ahead and try to get them back for the draft show. What you said is, look, the faithful. 99.9% of the faithful hated Alex Smith until Jim Harbaugh came around. Yep. And I think that, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Was it a good idea to move on from Alex Smith to Cap? I think so. In hindsight, it's easy to say what you should have, but we all remember the 2011 NFC Championship game, and let's be real, Alex Smith was limited. Now,
I disagree.
But the point is, look, we all know, and we're not going to get into that. We're not going to say his name because we don't need me to go on a Kyle fucking Williams rant. But look, we all know Alex Smith's not to blame for that game.
No. He didn't play well, but it wasn't on him.
Yeah. But I think that sometimes that going back through Niner history, man, you think Joe played perfect all the time? I think that we have this God attitude of Joe Montana. Look at the game that I became a faithful. The Super Bowl 23, Joe had a shit game. Joe didn't play well at all. Even in the both Super Bowls against Cincinnati, Joe didn't play that well. He really didn't. But, the thing about Joe is he was clutch at the right time. And I think that one of the things that is always underappreciated about Alex Smith is he was lightweight clutch. I mean, let's not forget the comeback against the Eagles. When we had Ian Williams on the show back in 2011, he talked about that was the game that kind of turned things around for that season. That the comeback of the Eagles made the team think like, hey, you know what? We might have a little something here.
In the rain, kind of like the Washington game last couple
years. Yeah, it was. I believe it was a raining game. Justin Smith punches out the ball, and we all know the story. But let's not forget the Crabtree's first game against Houston. And, being down 21-0, and Alex damn near brought us back in that game. I believe we ended up tying it 21-21, and they ended up kicking a field goal to win it towards the end. And so I think that, Was Alex limited? Yes. Like, he obviously wasn't. Look, Cap brought us an element that we had not had in a very long time as far as his legs. And we all know Daddy Long Legs. And, we all remember Kaepernicking and all that. But when I close my eyes, I'm going to remember the run, the what should have been the game-winning touchdown. I if I ever beat Dante Hittner, I have to give him some shit about that and say, you almost cost us in 2 games, because everybody talks about, of course, he went for the pick and missed the tackle on Shockey. But what a lot of people don't realize is what made Atlanta get closer was Dante Hittner missed a tackle, which I don't believe is fault, because he got flagged for going up too hard, and so he goes lower. The running back was able to bounce off and score. Yeah. So when I close my eyes, I'm going to look at Alex Smith. And I say, you know what? If Alex Smith was the 24th overall pick and Aaron Rodgers was the first overall pick, I don't think anybody would have said Alex Smith was overdrafted. Yeah. Alex Smith clearly was a first-round quarterback. And let's be real. I believe that regardless of ever how you feel or anything, we'll never know. But I do believe we're a separated shoulder from Alex Smith at least having a chance to win us number 6. I think you could argue whether we would have done it or not. I personally don't believe we would have came back against Atlanta. But let's put it this way. That was a Super Bowl roster. And, it would have not been a surprise for Alex Smith to have led us into number 6. And who knows, maybe if we don't have Cap, Greg Roman decides to give Frank the fucking ball. And, Frank and Joe Staley and Ahmad Brooke and all of them are riding out into the sunset. And people forget that we were 9-2 when Alex got hurt. Yeah, so it wasn't like we were a 500 football team struggling. No, we were a good fucking football team. And I think that for the type of offense we ran, I mean, what was our offense? It was a run-based offense and great defense. And I think that was perfect, because all Alex had to do was don't turn the ball over. That's it. Don't.
Familiar, doesn't it?
It kind of does, huh? How we could kind of, funny. So that's my thought on Alex Smith. Jason, you want to give a few of your thoughts?
I thought Alex, but I think most of us do not deserve Alex with how we treated him.
Yeah.
The 2 things I remember about Alex is, and it's kind of embarrassing to have one of them, the we want car chance. Wasn't that it was embarrassing, was the fact that I should say that the next drive after everything that happened, what happened? He came out and led a damn good drive to get not a Super Bowl, but a touchdown.
Yeah.
To take that much pressure and basically, however many thousands of people hating you, and still have the focus to go out there and do your job and all that. I mean, it's just like that to me showed the kind of person Alex was from that point on.
Yeah,
good.
To piggyback off of what you said, I very distinctly remember that game, because I remember I was I believe my then girlfriend, baby mama now, I believe was pregnant with our daughter, and we both saw Singletary's lips say, "You will not be here next year." I very distinctly remember Singletary saying, "You will not be here next year," and Mike Nolan throwing him under the bus over his shoulder and everything. And I think that to piggyback off of what you're saying and great points that you made was, Alex, it would have been very easy for 2011 for Alex to walk away. Hey, I'm a free agent now. I've been thrown under the bus, and I don't think many people would have. I wouldn't have blamed him. You know what? I probably would have dipped myself, honestly. You know what? Hey, fuck y'all. Yeah, fuck y'all. But you know what? Alex said no. And not only did Alex say no, but Alex, if people forget, Alex was the one that put together the practices at San Jose State and everything like that. And Alex was this is my football team. I'm the quarterback. And, Alex Smith, nice guy, quiet, nice guy and everything like that. But you know what? One thing you cannot deny about Alex Smith is he was a competitor. And he was gonna go out there and he was gonna scratch and he was gonna claw, and you literally, I mean, the man almost lost his life, and they pretty much almost had to drag Alex Smith off the football field. And so, Alex, I tip my cap to you, sir. And unfortunately, very sad that you didn't win us number 6, because you know what? You deserved it. And it wasn't your fault you were taken first overall. And you know what, Alex, congratulations. Nice career. And I hope that the Yorks will invite you to Levi's and the faithful can give you the proper send-off that you deserve, sir. Congratulations on a great career. Moving on. Go ahead.
I got to tell the story, because that's what I was going to say.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, the story of why I cried like a little man, like a little kid. So I told you this. So
yeah,
obviously that game was on a Sunday. That Thursday, I came home and I found my best friend and my fiance at the time in bed. You know, just take that is.
Yeah.
That game was on a Sunday. We win that game, and just everything came out. I'm in the middle of a bar on my knees, just crying. And people are like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?" But like I said, that will be one of my best memories of Alex. That all happened. And like I said, you have all that. Just imagine having all that, just feelings, anger, and everything. Just when he did that little shuffle after the run for the score,
yeah,
I think I ran around the bar doing the same thing. Like, kind of thing he was doing.
You know, I think it's also what, you know, I think that, look, the decade of darkness, as they like to call it on, Better Rivals podcast, is a lot of that is Alex Smith. Listen, and I'm not saying it's his fault or whatever like that, but he was the quarterback for a lot of that. And I think that moment, that season, it felt, and for the faithful who maybe weren't old enough to remember or whatever, that whole season felt like 2019. And
it was very similar.
It was very similar to 2019, and you kind of just felt like, and I think it's a little unique because, you know, we had leading up to 2019, at least we had the Harbaugh years. I don't think that the faithful who aren't old enough don't realize how bad it got after, in 99 and through on after Jeff, and especially after Jeff Garcia, and how much we were the laughing stock. And it was the fall from grace because, it was not that long after, the dynasty, and we were the Niners and, all that. And that game it felt like the return. It was here the Niners. This is look, I remember it growing up as a kid in the 90s. I mean, Jason, you probably even more in the 80s, but me growing up in the 90s, it wasn't if the Niners were going to win. It was how much were we going to win by? Like, the Niners didn't lose games. Like, it was just, that's what we did. Yeah, it was just, that's what it was. We won game. And that moment and that game was special because it was the reason we all fell in love with Niner football. Heart-stopping, the catch 2, the catch 3. And as with the catch, we all know the story of how Dwight used to joke with Joe and say, hey, they don't call it the throw. But I think one of the most underrated things about the catch 3, the, Vernon Post, the grab, however you want to name it, that throw was a fucking dart.
It went through 4 people's hands.
Yeah, it was a dart. And Alex put it on money, and it was. I think that game signed up everything. That game summed up Alex Smith's career. Like I said, when we talked about our Alex moments in the chat the other day, that was Alex Smith refusing to lose. That was Alex Smith saying, "I'm not going to lose this football game," and I think that sums up his career. Alex Smith just refusing to lose. I'm not going to let this broken leg force me to retire. I'm going to walk off the football field under my own terms and everything like that. And so you can argue about talent, captain check down, all that, but you know what? Nobody can ever question Alex Smith's heart.
And as bad as he was for those years, his overall career record was 99, 67, and 1.
That's not bad.
No, it's not.
I think a lot of Niner fans. I think a lot of Niner fans would take that right now. I would. I mean, obviously, not compared to, what Jimmy's on pace for. But, so, yeah. Also, a little quick before we dive into the meat of the show. A little quick. Jordan Reed has officially announced his retirement. That sucks. I was looking forward to training camp return of Jordan Reed because we never really got to see what all faithful expect. I mean, the Jets game was obviously, his shining moment of his Niner career, but we never got to see what we all hoped to see, which was, the Kittle and Reed combination that I think would have been deadly. And Jordan, if anything's going to convince you to come back, please, we'll do whatever it takes. I'll start a GoFundMe, whatever it is, bro, because I would love to see 85 and 81 on the field together. But also, sir, another great career, and unfortunately, looks like we'll never really get to see what could have been. So we're gonna go ahead, and we decided. I went through this week, and I went through all the list of quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl, and I know there's a lot of talk with obviously what we assume is going to be a quarterback at number 3 of, the Niners are getting the third best quarterback and all this. And I think it's funny because I'm going to go ahead and read y'all some names that I think y'all should know. Bart Starr, Johnny Unitas, Roger Staubach, Kenny Stabler, and the GOAT. Okay, and I think that those names are core names that any football fan should recognize. Now, Bart Starr, 9th quarterback taken. Johnny Unitas, 3rd quarterback taken. Roger Staubach, 10th quarterback taken. And Joe, as we all know, was the 4th quarterback taken out of his draft. We obviously all know Tom Brady. Tom Brady had, hold on, I know it right here.
236, I think what it was.
So 7 quarterbacks. He was the 7th quarterback taken in that draft. And so I specifically named those things because those are all Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Those are all quarterbacks that if Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, whoever we take would have a career like that, I think Niner fans would run the draft card in right now. I'd run it from San Ho to, where is it? Or LA this year, wherever the draft is this year. I would. Yeah, I have no idea. I would run it over personally myself if Justin Fields or Trey Lance could.
I'll run it. I'm farther.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. You would see mine and Jason's chunky asses running to go turn in that draft card if we knew that they had the career of that. Even, Russell Wilson's bitch ass, 6th overall, or 6th quarterback taken. And so I think that what we and Jason were doing over our little pregame chat was, I think what never is talked a lot when it comes to these quarterbacks is motivation. As I'm pretty sure everybody knows, Aldon Smith has a warrant out for his arrest. And so Aldon Smith, all the talent in the world, very sad, breaks my heart. As you know me, y'all know I'm Mr. Pro Black and everything like that. It hurts me to see a brother or anybody with that type of talent go through those type of demons that he obviously clearly has. And here we thought he got his life turned around. Glad it's the Shecock's problem now, personally. But
I cheer for him as a man, not as a football player right now.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that, look, if you don't say that Aaron Rodgers sitting in that green room, waiting until pick number 24, having the camera zoom in on him, and when is Aaron Rodgers going to be taken, and being passed up by the team that you idolized. We all know that I have a personal vendetta. If we find out any of these, or not personal vendetta, but if we find out any of these quarterbacks grew up Niner fans, we need to draft that. If it's Mac Jones, fine. If Mac Jones grew up a Niner fan, we need to draft him, because the last three quarterbacks that were clearly came out and said, I grew up a 49er fan, were Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. And
Josh Rosen.
Oh, and Josh Rosen. Yeah, you're right. Correct. Josh Rosen. And so maybe not so much Josh Rosen, but I think I think that the Niners, I don't know about you, but I take Josh Rosen in red, or Josh Allen in red and gold right now. Damn sure would have took Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. And so it's motivation. It's the fact is, you don't think that Aaron Rodgers was motivated by being passed. You're smoking rocks. Aaron Rodgers was damn sure motivated. Tom Brady came in and changed his whole body. You don't think he was motivated by being passed up by the Niners 6 times? 6 times the Niners passed up on him. And every team in the NFL passed up on him. And Bill Belichick came out and said there was a question whether they would even keep him on the roster. And they decided to keep 4 quarterbacks. But there was questions of whether they were even going to, Tom Brady was even going to have an NFL career. And so I think that as we have the great debate, and, Jason and I will get into our picks and why, it boils down to this: motivation. And do you believe in Lynchahan? And I think that, most of the faithful that watch this show do believe in Lynchahan and everything like that. And I want to make it clear that if it's Mac Jones, will I be disappointed? Yes, I would be disappointed in Mac Jones. Does that mean that Mac Jones can't win us a Super Bowl? No. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I believe that whatever quarterback we take, Kyle Shanahan's going to get the best out of that quarterback. I just believe we have an opportunity, albeit Justin Fields or Trey Lance or even Zach Wilson, if the Jets happen to trade out or whatever. We have an opportunity to get some quarterbacks that simply just don't do things. I was telling Jason, if I'm not mistaken, the game-winning touchdown of the NFC Championship, Aldon Smith had Russell Wilson sacked. And he spinned away, and he just did shit that you can't plan for. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Why did that 3rd and 15? Why did that happen? Because Patrick Mahomes took 12 steps back and launched a football 60 yards down the field. And Emmanuel Mosley simply admitted that the mistake he made, because he was like, he's not going to make that throw.
Yeah.
And we lost just simply because Patrick Mahomes can do things that probably nobody else on planet Earth can do. And we have an opportunity to get a quarterback that can do that you can simply look like, hey, we played our best game, but he's just too good. How many teams do you think said that about Joe? Damn. I mean, I remember the game in Cincinnati, or I don't remember, but I've studied the game in Cincinnati when it was literally 1 second left on the clock. Cincinnati had it perfectly, schemed up or what. But guess what? Jerry Rice and Joe Montana were just that too damn good, to do the thing. So I'll go ahead and let Jason get into his ideas right now and everything. But I'm Team Justin Fields. To me, I'm not going to be disappointed in Trey Lance. I do believe Trey Lance does have the highest ceiling of all the quarterbacks. I do believe that. I do believe he has possibly the best bust potential just because we haven't seen that much of him. I don't think he'll be a bust. To me, his floor to me is top 10, top 15 quarterback. And I'll take a top 10, top 15 quarterback that can move around like that. Yeah. And I would understand, he's done the things that in college that Shanahan's going to ask him to do. But to me, with Justin Fields, it comes down to the intangibles. And we all know that I'm a huge Jimmy fan. And I believe Jimmy can lead us to the Super Bowl this year. I've said it many times on the show. One of the Joe Montana's best seasons he had in his career was the year we traded for Steve Young. And I don't think that was a coincidence, but to me, it's the tangibles. When you look at it and you say, clearly Jimmy Garoppolo's biggest issue is his health and just staying on the field. We can all agree that, Jimmy fan or not.
Yep.
When you have a quarterback that played through 6 cracked ribs and threw I believe he threw 3 or 4 more touchdowns after that. And one of the biggest stages of college football, that to me is something that human beings, not many human beings can simply just physically do that. When you talk about him leading the charge of Big Ten playing football, when you talk about quarterbacks, he wanted to cancel, and that was, to me, it's when you say, how much do you love football? How much are you dedicated to football? Is it the most important thing in your life? I think we could all agree these are things that can determine whether you're a bust or not. I think it's pretty damn clear that Justin Fields loves football. I don't think anybody's going to question his dedication. It's just the intangibles. It's the leadership and the fact that we've seen him do it over multiple years. Jason, go ahead and do your Team Lance chant.
Team Lance, baby. Team Lance. And look, I've said before, I'm not against Fields. The biggest difference between the two is that Fields, and should we pick him? He's starting next season. He's starting game 1. He is the more ready of the two to go now. That said, I would still take it with the plan being to keep Jimmy at least this 1 year, which is what they've kept saying over and over and over. It makes sense to draft someone more like Lance, who needs a little bit more coaching. Who needs a little bit, he needs to be polished. Like I said, Fields is always ready to go.
Yeah.
So he's plug and play. But like I said, with Lance, the ceiling is higher. His style of football that he's played in North Dakota State is damn near identical to what the Niners do. And that, to me, is one of the bigger differences. Because there's nothing wrong with the style of quarterback that Ohio State plays. Especially because a lot of people, everybody hates Ohio State quarterbacks. Well, Fields is the first quarterback to fully be underneath May, I believe is their current coach.
Yeah, Day.
After Urban Meyer left, he has no ties really to Urban Meyer. So it's the offense has changed. So it's a different style of quarterback. Now people are like, he's not that smart. He only does one look and one read. It's like, no, there's more to it than just that. So I mean, it's not. Those people are dumb. But like I said, with Lance, it's the style of football. Plus, at OSU, Fields does not call his own protection or his own audibles. He does even Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, who's the presumed #1 pick. They all look to the sideline. They get instructions there. He did that himself. So you got to remember, when he did that in that season, he was 19 years old. Barely, so he's now, a year and a half older. He's got all this knowledge that he probably would hope he's soaked up over it. And
working with Kyle Shanahan's personal friend and quarterback coach, I think, look, at the end of the day, as time's gone on, I've never bit into the Mac Jones thing as much. I do believe. Look, I think at many people who have not been on the Mac Jones camp believe that let's be real. Kirk Cousins, right? Okay, fine, cool. Let's be real. We could have got Kirk Cousins here. But then what did Kyle say? Kyle said, hey, no, we had Jimmy. And so he clearly could have let Jimmy walk. And Kirk Cousins would have been the Niner quarterback in 2018. Kyle Shanahan's fully said that's why they didn't look at Patrick Mahomes. That's why they didn't look at Deshaun Watson. Because Kirk Cousins was. But I think people forget two things. Kyle's never been in charge. It's never been his pick. All right, I think that needs to be cleared. And second of all, the quarterback you select in the 4th round is a lot different than the quarterback you're going to be comfortable selecting number 3 overall. If Mac Jones was a 4th round pick, a 2nd round pick, yeah, cool, all right. Which obviously compared, even at 12, obviously a lot of people compare Mac Jones to Jimmy. Where was Jimmy taken? 2nd round. So that's fine. But the more times has gone on, the scenario seems more like Lance. The scenario of, hey, we're going to keep Jimmy 1 more year, let the quarterback sit, learn under the system, all that. Yeah, that points to Jimmy. Mysteriously, the trade was made after Trey Lance's pro day, and hush hush and, all that and everything like that. So I think that, would I be disappointed in Trey Lance? No, I wouldn't be. Because, you know what, you could point and you could say, hey, look, he's essentially ran the same freaking offense as we did. So, we can look at film and see how he's done dropbacks, how he's turned the back to the defense during a play action, how he's done all these things that he's going to ask us. If I'm Kyle Shanahan and I know my job's on the line, let's be real. If this pick is a bust, Kyle Shanahan's not going to be here. Which breaks my heart because, we love him and I think it will work out. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick the quarterback that can, that I've seen do what I've asked him to do, even if it's only been for, a year and a game, and I think that what's not talked about, even Mac Jones himself, these quarterbacks are young. They're going to learn, I'm 35, and I'm completely not the same person I was at 20. 21, 22, 23 years old. I've gotten mature. I've improved as I would hope that I've improved as a podcast host over the last doing Niner Faithful Radio now for its 5th season. I would like to think I've improved. I remember my first show, I was a nervous mess. Could barely get a full functioning sentence out. And then guess what? After doing, hundreds of podcast episodes, I've gotten a lot more experience and I'm more comfortable. It's the same thing. And I think going against our defense, which we would assume would be a top 5-10 defense this year at least, with 10. Number 97 looking so sexy and freaky, doing his drills and baby. Anyway, sorry. If you're not hyped to see number 7, yes, Kim, I know that I didn't want to draft him. Kim will always forever remind me that I wanted Quentin Williams. If you're not pumped up that number 97's coming back, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But yeah, I remember when they did the state of the franchise, when they brought up the Super Bowl, Nick Bosa looked like he was about to shoot fire out of his eyes. And if you don't think missing last season, pretty much the whole season last year has motivated Nick Bosa, the man that won Rookie of the Year, that, Danny led us to a Super Bowl, and if we get a holding call on 3rd and 15 like it should have been, might very well be Super Bowl MVP. If you want to get that man,
not just rookie.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to get that man more motivated, good luck, quarterbacks of the NFC West and NFC this year. I'll pray for y'all. So I think that going against our defense, I don't think that we're going to face that much of a better defense than he would face in practice, whatever the quarterback is. And so in a scenario where you say, hey, we want Jimmy to keep Jimmy one more year, and we feel that Jimmy right this second gives us a best chance to win a Super Bowl this year, because let's not get it twisted. Regardless of whatever quarterback we take, it's a Super Bowl or bust year. I think we can say that now, Faithful. The standard is back. It is Super Bowl or bust. I am not going to be happy with this team making the play. I'll be happy, but it is not going to be a successful season if we simply just make the playoffs. No. We've discussed the very little that the rosters changed that, a little over almost a year and a half ago we watched in Super Bowl 54. The majority of that roster is coming back. I'm sorry that my expectations are Super Bowl or bust. And so I believe that Jimmy does. And so if you're going to have a quarterback sit for a year and learn, I do believe Trey Lance is the best option. Any other little draft crushes that you have, players that you want the Niners to draft?
Sticking with quarterbacks. Kellen Mond from Texas A&M.
Okay.
If for some reason, because it was last Sunday, all of a sudden all this stuff came out about, we're going to take Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Number 4. Okay, I'm down with that.
I'm down with that.
So obviously we need a quarterback at some other point. It's not going to be one of the top ones. Kellen Mond. Herbert. Khalil Herbert. Going back from Virginia Tech. I think we still need. I still think we need somebody in the backfield to go along with most.
Yeah. I think
there's a litany of wide receivers.
Yeah. My whole
both cornerbacks from UCF, Goins and Robinson. I would take either of them because they both fill different roles. One's more of a slot, and the other one's outside. So I'll take either one of those.
Oh, so everybody knows mine. If you've seen me in the nitty gritty chat or anybody that's seen, your boy would definitely know. I'm Troy Warner. I'm sorry. I'm all about, and I understand he's not a superstar and first overall. Hey, if we can get him in the 3rd, 4th, that's fine. I'll accept that he's around a 3rd, 4th round pick. You haven't heard much about him. But when you hear Bam Bam talk about him, and I understand some of that has to be taken with a grain of salt because who's going to rip their baby brother, But when he comes out and he says he's the better football player, the man who's, best linebacker in the league, the man who's never missed a game and probably missed maybe 2 snaps his whole career. Knock on wood. The Bam Bam MVP of the week. We all know that. So it's getting Troy Warner and pairing him as a strong safety. He plays strong safety. We all know the issues of Jaquiski Tartt staying healthy. We all know that essentially this is our attitude in 2020 was clearly let's run it back for another year. I think we just delayed that an extra season. I don't anticipate Jaquiski Tartt coming back for 2022. I think that an eye towards the future and middle of the defense that's roamed by the Warner brothers. Trademark, don't steal it. Niner Faithful Radio is going to put it on a t-shirt. I'm saying that now so y'all can't steal it. We're going to, I think that would bring the faithful a lot of juicy defensive play. So, look, if we get...
where he is on the big board.
Yeah. Let me know, because I've tried to find a lot of information about him and haven't been able to find too much information about him. But I know he's scheduled to come out this year. So
I'm just looking to see where he's at.
Yeah, so it's if we can get that, I'm more of a position. I'm not gonna pretend like I know any more than any type of scout or anything like that. But if we can pick up a receiver, and a guard that can maybe play some center, but an O lineman that can play some guard.
Green, Illinois.
Denver Green. Okay. That can play some guard and switch into center when Alex Mack is ready to call it quits. I think that what I want from this draft, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So if you tell me that we can come out of this draft, out of our 9 picks, we can come out with 4 to 5 solid, obviously one hopefully superstar quarterback, and some 4 or 5 solid starters that hey, we understand that we have Eric Armstead. We understand that we have Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward and, Jason Verrett and all these players, but kind of looking at an eye towards the future. That's how the Patriots do it. Let's be real. Patriots are, draft and replace, draft and replace, draft and replace. And so I think that if we can get it down to that much. He's not on the big board?
Nope.
Maybe he's coming out next year. I don't know. I could have swore it was this year. We'll find out more information about him and see what we can figure out about that. But if we can come out with a receiver, O lineman that can play a little bit of guard, maybe a little bit of ideally some tackle, because a decision is going to have to be made about Michael McGlinchey, and we. That's a conversation for a different time. But if we can come out with a receiver, a corner, and a O lineman and a quarterback, I would fully be supportive of that. And I'm down for it. And to me, that's all I want. And if we can walk out with 3 to 4 solid starters and a superstar quarterback. Or even I would even settle for the best quarterback in the division. I run that to the bank, and I think that we're going to see some sustained success out here in the Bay for a lot of time. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here pretty quick. But before we get out of here, we have some special announcements to make as far as the draft show. So we are going to be live during the draft. We are going to try to Jason and I we're gonna discuss it, and we'll probably, when the Jets get on the clock, we'll probably start it. But we will be live for the full time that the Niners are on the clock, and we're going to. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, we might do the beginning.
Because we might get something crazy like Justin Fields going 1.
Yeah. So we will figure out our draft schedule. Please stay tuned to all Niner Faithful Radio social media. We will be announcing the schedule here pretty quickly. And then also,
I got a bunch of stuff to give away to viewers.
I was about to say we're probably going to do some giveaways for the draft and everything. We're going to bring on guests. So if you, yeah, exactly. Good NorCal bro. Good point, NorCal Go. QB Collective owned by Shanahan. Fields is the pick. I would definitely think that we all know Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan loves his connections, and so look, I would not be mad if it's Justin Fields. I mean, I already have.
Lance, I ain't even mad at Fields.
Yeah, exactly. Fields of gold, and we got all sorts of T-shirt ideas that we could come up with.
What we need is them to take Kyle Pitts, and then instantly the next day I'm wearing a Kittle and Pitts shirt.
Kittle and Pitts. Hey, we're gonna so make that into a T-shirt, bro. We're so gonna make that into a T-shirt. Kittle and Pitts. I love it. Kittle and Pitts.
That's what I'm like. Part of me really hopes is that just so we can do that with Kittle and Pitts.
Let's be realistic. I mean, Kyle Pitts is the freakiest athlete in here.
He's probably the best player in the draft.
If quarterback wasn't quarterback, and let's be real, there's only two players that touch the football on every single play, and that's the center and the quarterback.
Yeah.
Those are the only literally that touch the football every single play. So, but yeah, Kyle Pitts is going to be the best player in the draft. I think that, as Jason has put it, Kittle and Pitts would, bye-bye. Could you say NFL record-breaking offense? Man, damn it, Jason! Now I'm gonna want Kyle Pitts. So I'm gonna think of.
I love that. They were talking about it one day, and all of a sudden my head just like Kittle and
Pitts. Hey. Oh yeah. So we're gonna have a great old time on draft day. We want to reach out to the faithful. We're gonna try to stay live in case we do a trade up scenario, which I have a funny feeling that trading up into the first round might be something that we might do this year. We're going to try to stay as live as long as possible for the draft. So if the Niners don't draft Mac, if the Niners don't draft, he could slide to the end of the first round. In that case, take Pitts third overall, then Mac. Hey, you know what? I like that scenario. Mac slides to the end of the first round. You pick up Fields, or you pick up Pitts, and then slide back up into the first round to take Mac Jones.
I don't think honestly, I really don't. I don't think he's getting past 12.
Don't think about past 12?
No, I think New England's going to jump up and grab him. Whoever's left after the top three, I think New England's going to jump up and get him.
Yeah, I could see New England sliding up. We'll see. I mean, you know what? That scenario, if that scenario ends up happening, I'm totally down for that. If you want to take Kyle Pitts and then somehow be able to, draft Mac Jones, end of the first, beginning of the second, at 43, whatever. I'm running that. I'm doing cart flips. And, I don't think Mac Jones is a bad quarterback. I think that we can win Super Bowls with Mac Jones. It's just, I'm not taking Mac Jones at 3.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not selecting Mac Jones. It's selecting Mac Jones at 3 when you have more talented quarterbacks that can do. Look, let's be real. The league is changing. Your pocket passers are dying. In 10 years from now, it's going to be Russell Wilson. It's going to be, Kyler Murray. It's going to be Josh Allen. Those type of quarterbacks. Mac only got talked about as a top 5 pick because of the Shanahan connection. I do think that's the only reason he got topped as a top 5 pick, because there are people thinking that he might even be second, third round before we made the trade.
Here's the thing. Think about it this way. McCorkle Jones gets compared to Jimmy all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is Jimmy at his best did what?
Top
took
15
the Super Bowl. With a fully healthy Jimmy, did we not go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're looking at it from that point of view, is that he is a healthier version of Jimmy with a better arm? That's what
more accurate.
Yeah. So I mean, That
Well, then
I
let me.
understand it. I still don't want him at number 3, but if that's what
Yeah.
you're basing it off of, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, let's be this way. I'll ask you, and NorCal Bro, go ahead and comment yourself, and we'll pop it here on screen. Do you believe Mac Joe makes the throw to Emmanuel Sanders?
Probably. I
I do
think he's a
too.
better chance than Jimmy.
Yeah, I do too. As I've broken on, I think that Jimmy can make that throw, you know, but I believe that more times out of not, he's going to miss it, and Mac Jones more times than not than would make it. So it's very clearly, and let's look, we all talk about the throw to Emmanuel Sanders and everything like that, but let's not forget that there were other throws in that Super Bowl that Jimmy missed. Here NorCal Bro says, yeah, probably, as far as the Mac Jones throw. So the fact that Kyle Shanahan wants he wants a robot quarterback. He trusts his system, and he says, hey, look, if he's like Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh used to say if he could get players to do what he wanted them to do, he could script a whole game. And I don't doubt that the genius could script a whole game if you could have robots that you could program to do exactly what you want to do. I don't think Bill Walsh would have ever lost a game. I don't think Bill Walsh would have ever lost a game. And that's what Kyle Shanahan wants. And that's what Mac Jones is. McCorkle is hey, you want me to go the ball here, I'm supposed to go, it's supposed to be, he's going to do that. And so, absolutely, if it's a trade down scenario, if it's a whatever scenario that's not Mac Jones at 3, even 10, even 8, I'm okay. As long as it's not a chance where, hey, we could have drafted freaking Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and we got Mac Jones. That's what I'm disappointed at. But you want to tell me we traded down, got some more picks that we could trade up and do all that, and Lynch, playing the chess game that we know Lynchahan loved to play, then yeah, I'm all for that. Look, I trust that we will make the right decision for the organization. And Lynchahan, I trust.
Did you watch the pro days for Lance and Fields?
I watched the first one of Lance, and I watched both of them of Fields.
If you notice that in the second one, which is both basically Niner run,
yeah,
there was a deep throw down the middle that looked awfully familiar from both of them. And I was like, that was done on. I was like, that was done on purpose. They both hit it. Fields hit it better because is actually Jordan Matthews that caught it for Trey Lance, and he had to slow down a little bit. And then Mac Jones was straight over through. But I thought that was funny that exact play.
That particular, yeah, because Kyle Shanahan put that play in, and he said, "Hey, this is going to be when we need a play," and I think that I think we're confident that all these quarterbacks can hit open receivers. I think we're confident that all these quarterbacks can hit open receivers.
Any quarterback can hit open receivers.
Yeah, exactly. And so, there were a couple throws by Cap that, anyway, but so I trust that Kyle Shanahan is going to make the team, and whatever. Look, it's like the Niners are that hot girl in high school. We're that hot girl that everybody wants. Everybody wants to come to the Niners. Look, this might be one of the best positions in NFL history that a third overall pick could come to. Let's be real. Like, you're coming into a Super Bowl roster. There's no better with one of the greatest offensive minds in the league. This is like John Elway being drafted by Bill Walsh. This is going to be awesome. So, we welcome. Before we get up out of here, I just want to say we are going to try to stay live as long as possible during the draft. We invite all the faithful. Please come on. We're reaching out to all the faithful, all our listeners, all the people on Facebook, the group, whoever you are. If you're faithful, we want you to come in and get this opinion. Because look, let's be real. This is probably one of the biggest picks in team history. And we could be. I'm super excited because we could be drafting the next great Niner quarterback. We could be. This could be the draft that we sit here and tell our grandkids about. After our 8th Super Bowl parade, type of situation. So, well, hopefully in 8 years my kid won't have a kid. I don't want my kid to have a kid at 18, but or 19. But anyway, she'll be like her mother. But anyway, so please join us. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Jason does an amazing job as our social media manager. Before we get up out of here, Jason, any last thoughts?
Just excited, man. We're finally down to double digits. I think that's the biggest thing. Is that every day it gets lower, we get a little bit closer. All we got is 7 more days and a wake up. That's all we got.
7 more days and a wake up, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
Like you said, probably since 2005 when we drafted Alex, the biggest draft we're going to have because
yeah. Look, this is probably the biggest draft since we took an Alex Smith first overall. I mean, let's be real. We because it was pretty clear in 2017 we weren't going to take a quarterback. I think that was pretty clear. So, yeah, I mean, this is what we live for. The faithful, we live for this. So, super excited. Can't wait to have everybody else. So, as we get out of here, we'd like to remind you, please follow us on Facebook, all that good stuff. Subscribe, like the video, please share with your friends. Invite all your faithful. Go check out our peoples at Nitty Gritty Niners. They do an amazing job as well. Big shout out to Wayne, Miss Peachy, Donnie, Alice, everybody over there. Come check us out. We're going to have lots of goodie giveaways that Jason got for y'all. I've seen some of it. It's some pretty dope shit. So, go ahead and follow us on Facebook, and we're going to go ahead and give some of those on the show. And so until then, for Super Duper Moderator Kim, Jamie, Jason, Nate, and Jimmy, and myself, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Thank y'all. Faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
Doses.
All right, bro. So...
Shit.